So this event. Let me set the background for people. So this event is coming up November 25th, and this event is to celebrate and recognize the life of your late husband, the great Static Major.
Yes.
I need you a little. Can you get a little closer from here?
Yeah.
Look, you can bring this down.
Quit being scared of the microphone, man.
She's like, what?
Look, and for people, look, this is. Static Major has done so much in his career that I feel isn't recognized enough. So let's set the backdrop, because Static Major, I think, if I remember correctly, the first song Static produced was Juwaan's Pony. Am I correct?
You're correct, yes.
So that was the first song he produced. That was before the group Playa formed.
Actually, it was.
I thought Playa was already formed.
He was a part of a crew called The Basement.
The Basement?
The Basement, and they all started. It was a group that was started by DEVANTE from Jodeci.
Okay.
And that group consisted of Missy, Timberland, Juwaan.
Was Aaliyah there yet?
No, Aaliyah wasn't a part of The Basement.
Okay.
Stevie J.
Hitmaker Stevie J.
Right. Tweak.
I remember Tweak. Oops.
I mean, it was a several groups that he had put together, and what he did was he kind of like molded them and gave them the tools.
So when you say he molded them, are you saying Static?
Nah, he talked DEVANTE. I heard he ran the basement like Daddy did making a band.
I did. Hey, it might have been a little worse than that.
It was.
Yeah, it might have been a little worse. They had it pretty good, honestly.
All right, look. So take us back with the Basement, right? How did Static become a part of this crew of people that have grown to be legendary? How did Static become a part of that?
Well, what he told me, because I didn't know him at the time.
Okay.
So this was before my time. So I'm speaking on what was told to me. He said that Jodeci came here for a concert, and he met him after the concert backstage, and he sung for him.
It was Louisville Gardens, wasn't
Probably so.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And he sung for him, and he liked him. So the next day, they just kept communicating. And at the time, he was going to U of L. So he just started college. He was 17 years old.
See, hold on, let me stop you there. Now, see, that's a background I don't think many people know about Static.
Yeah.
That he was actually a student at U of L?
Yeah, he was a student at U of L. He was also in the Black Diamond Choir at U of L. He was probably the youngest person in the Black Diamond Choir at that time.
Now look, I'm a graduate of U of L and I have no idea what the Black Diamond.
That is a shame.
I have no idea.
How you not gonna know?
I have no idea. What is the Black? What is it? The Black
It's
Diamond?
the gospel choir.
Yeah, it's the one they.
Well, probably because I'm not gospel. I'm not religious.
Nah, I mean,
I don't think that really has anything to do with it.
man, honestly, I ain't never heard of them either, though. To be honest.
Y'all some heathens. Anyway.
So Static. So wait a minute. So like many people, like many R&B artists, Static started out in church.
He did. His dad was a musician.
Okay.
And his mother was a choir director. And his sister, she played the piano as well. So
music is in the blood.
It's in the blood, you know. Static arranged the music. His sister played the music, and his mother was the director, the choir director.
So look, that hence is the connection between Jodeci and Static Major, because Jodeci came out of the church as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, the brothers. Yeah.
All right, so let's move along. So Static meets them backstage. They communicate, and then this is what I want to say. Probably it had to be 95, 96.
It might have been a little bit earlier than that, though.
I think he graduated in 92.
That's what I'm saying.
He graduated in 92, so it was probably like 93.
So they were working on music back then.
Back then.
All right, so
yeah, and actually, Pony wasn't written until 96.
Right, that's what I said. It had to be a minute, though.
Yeah, 96.
So
but
all these.
Pony was his first hit. Put it like that.
All right. His first that he wrote.
First hit that he wrote.
And Juwaan is still perform. Look, that's a song that Juwaan can perform until he's like 90.
Might be. I mean, it's arguably his most recognized song, though.
Yeah, but
that song right there it just seems like it never dies. It never, like the song is like 20-something years old.
Right.
You still hear it.
Still hear it in
I'm
the strip
still
club.
like getting deals for the song. Like people are contacting me, you know, like Google and movies and stuff like that. It's always, it just never, I'm like, every time I turn around, that daggone pony is, yeah,
So in addition to Pony, he has songwriter credits on So Anxious.
so anxious.
He has several Aaliyah hits. Are You Somebody?
Try
Rock
Again.
the Boat. Try Again.
Try Again, and that album with that Rock the Boat was on, I think that is the, what is that, the Red album?
Yes, the red album.
Yeah, that album, he had 11 songs on that album.
11 songs in that album.
Mhm.
So Static Major at one point was the lead songwriter and producer for Aaliyah. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, at that time he was.
And plus that CD.
I think that first album was R. Kelly.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the second one was
Yeah.
Timberland and Missy.
And then the third one.
And the third one was Static.
Yeah, we seen R. Kelly on the first. Remember? Hey, did you see the
Yeah.
cover of the first album?
Focus.
Have you looked at
It
it
looked
now?
predatory.
Yeah, R. Kelly's back in the cut. Like,
It
got
looked
his
predatory.
Focus, Brad. Focus. Let's get back to focus.
All right, but his most recognizable hit came in, actually, was it after his death when Lil Wayne dropped Lollipop?
Well, I guess
No, I
for
know
his
that. Oh, I'm
for
sorry.
his career,
Oh,
yeah,
cheers.
something just went out on me. Yeah, for his career, that was like the first Static Major. You know,
When he was in the
featuring-
forefront.
Yes, where he's in the forefront, Static Major, and he actually he had written that song probably like December of 07. And he kept saying, I think Lil Wayne, you know, he'll be dope on this song. And I just got to, you know, get to him. So he kept running into him, but he never really said anything.
All right, so look, we got to clarify that,
About
right?
that song.
When you say he wrote the song in 07, right?
Mhm.
You're meaning the hook and the chorus and all that, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, people, Lil Wayne fans are going to blast. He was like,
Right.
Lil Wayne writes his own lyrics. So
Right.
Static wrote
Yeah.
the hook, the chorus.
The song was Static's song. It was his song.
Okay.
Basically, his idea, his song, and his melodies, and Lil Wayne put his verses on there.
Right.
That's
I mean,
what happened. It was already a song.
Yeah, plus I don't think he get the credit. He didn't get the credit that he deserved for that song.
Look, and I'm a Lil Wayne fan, right? But I had a beef with Lil Wayne in 09. The album dropped. The Carter 3 dropped. I think that was 09. Carter 3 dropped. That song did. I have to look it up. I think it was 3 or 4 times platinum. The song went crazy.
Man,
He won a Grammy for that song. Static had passed at that time.
Right.
Lil Wayne took the stage to the Grammys, thanked everybody except Static Major. I was pissed.
But then he come back on later.
He came back later and started
Yeah.
Storm Love.
Actually, I was there.
Uh-oh.
I was there, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of hurt me. You know, I was like, whoa.
Right.
You know, because I'm there and I'm expecting him. This was actually the BET Awards.
Okay, BET
Okay.
Awards.
The BET Awards. And I think T-Pain was hosting the awards.
Mhm.
And he came out, got his award. But, you know, you got to know people's mental state. You know, he came out with this cup, so that's all I'm going to say.
We not giving him
You
a
know what I'm
pass.
saying?
Static was
That's
on the
all I'm
record.
gonna say. and then T-Pain came out, like, right after Wayne walked out, and he was like, hey, shout out, you know, rest in peace, Static Major.
Right, I remember that.
He did, you know. And I thought about it, you know. I thought about it. And I was like, I wanted
no-
to be mad.
no excuse.
But then at the end of the day, listen this. This is what I'm telling you my lawyer said. I ain't going to tell you what she said. I'm not going to do that.
Nah, we can't tell you what the lawyer said. It's confidential.
No, it ain't even confidential. You know, it's just not.
Tagging
I shouldn't.
you.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it on the radio.
We'll talk about
We
after.
know.
But this is the thing. This is what I know. You know, anytime you take something from somebody, you only take it from yourself. You know, and at that point, you know, I said I'm just gonna pray for him. You know, because you know, look what follow. You know, you just never know.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, there were circumstances that probably, you know, it just, you know, but at the end of the day, Lil Wayne blew that song up.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, so Lil Wayne, basically my lawyer said, you know,
Let Lil Wayne
like
do
him,
it. But
you still getting paid.
okay,
You still
okay.
getting paid. Don't worry, you know, don't worry, you still getting paid.
We
So,
know the deal. We know.
yeah, he blew it up. So I have to give him props for that, you know, because he could have took him off the song.
Right.
You know, because, you know, right before the song was done in December, we gave him the song, and the next thing you know, it was like, it's my first single. Like, you know, so everything just moved really fast. And then the video was done probably the first part of February.
Now, Static was in the video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. And see, that's what and look, no, and look, I love Lil Wayne as no. I love Lil Wayne, period. But on that particular issue was something that I took issue with because, you know, I didn't understand how you forget somebody that gave you the song and then was in the video as well. So, I mean, we call it out for what it is.
But, you know,
it's
like,
a major
lot
song,
of behind-the-scenes things that people don't see. You know what I'm saying? There's been several times where I could always call Lil Wayne and ask for whatever I need. You know, can I get a concert ticket? You know, BET award tickets, and there's nothing that I can't give.
You might
him.
call him and tell him Brad got an issue with him from on
I don't have an issue with Lil Wayne.
You know what? Guess what? It ain't even worth it.
Right.
It's not
Just
even
like you
worth
said, you
it.
can still call on them.
Yeah,
You know
you never want to burn bridges, you
Never.
know, because you never know
Never.
when you might need somebody, and it's just unnecessary, you know, like I said, I still got paid,
Right.
I know that's right.
so how can I be mad?
So,
you
so,
know?
so are you saying that that you own the masters of Static's catalog?
Well, that's a complicated question.
Okay.
You know, it's a real complicated question, but yes, most of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But mostly labels own masters.
Right.
You
So
know,
you had
once
to
you
pay the
give the
label.
song to the label, they own the masters.
But there's some publishing
But
issues involved.
right,
like
but
that,
he will own copyrights. It's real technical, you know. So he owns his copyrights, but masters usually are owned by labels.
All right, now look, that song went big, but I'm gonna move to the song. I played this song on the way over here, and this was a song that a lot of people slept on, but kind of touched me.
What's that?
And it was on Lil Wayne's Take Care album. On the Take Care album, Lil Wayne, on Drake's Take Care album. On Drake's album, he dropped a song called "Look What We Done," and it featured a sample of Static and Smoke, and I think Static was playing the piano on that song, right? Smoke was playing piano.
Smoke's playing piano.
Okay, Static was doing the.
He was singing.
He was singing.
Yeah.
He sampled that on "Look What You've Done," and that was 2011, I believe.
Yeah, he actually sampled it right off the internet.
Yeah, I think it was a YouTube video, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
sampled it right off the internet, but
Yeah.
Drake is a Static fan. He's an Aaliyah fan
Right.
and a Static
Plus,
fan.
plus, I think he's doing work. Drake's doing work with some Aaliyah music, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he was trying to do something. I think
Yeah,
there was
it didn't really work out.
Right.
Yeah, that's a complicated, you know.
Yeah, of course, because she's passing, and yeah.
I mean, it's way more complicated than that. You know, it's a lot of family things going on with that. So.
All right, look.
Ready
Let me get
to-
to the question that everyone has been wanting to know.
It was Cheers for You, written for you.
That wasn't the question.
That was a good question. Hold on. What
Only
y'all
they knew each other, did
I think I met Steven right after that album dropped. So
Man,
it was
it's-
not written for me.
Hold up, but that was one that, to me. I know you said Lil Wayne, and I think Cheers to You was probably better than that. The Lollipop. I'm sorry.
It was a great song. It just didn't do the commercial numbers
Well-
that Lollipop did.
Well, see, Lollipop was a crossover song.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So anytime a hit, it's not really a hit unless you cross over.
Right.
You know, so that was, and the good thing about his music, he's always had the ability to cross over, like to Try Again, and Try Again wasn't even released as a single, but it went #1 on Billboard.
Right.
Well, it was on the
It
soundtrack
kinda
too,
was
wasn't
a
it?
record. It made a record.
Yeah, it was. It was.
What movie was
Yeah. When that Aaliyah's movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With,
Romeo Must Die.
yeah.
Remember that. All right, look. People want to know. I want to know because I didn't know. What was the cause? Because it was untimely. What was the cause of Static's death? And before you answer it, I've read about it, right? So I don't want to get too in dangerous territory. But I read about it, and from what I read was that there was a illness, and I'm going to put a name up in a minute, that he suffered, and there was some issues with Baptist East Hospital. So during one of these issues that he suffered, I think was it a blood disorder?
No. It was, I guess you can say similar. It was an autoimmune disorder.
Right.
And it was called, it was myasthenia gravis. This is what they thought he had. So we at that point, he'd only been in the hospital 12 hours. So, it's hard to diagnose somebody
Right.
like in 12 hours, but that's what they thought he had.
Right. So the hospital gave him a treatment or procedure that they thought would help with this illness, and some suspect that treatment was actually the cause of his death.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
They were going to do a treatment that's similar to dialysis. That's where the blood comes in, and where they would take the blood out and put it back in and clean it.
Similar to like a blood transfusion or dialysis or whatever.
Yeah, it's like filtering the blood from toxins and anything that that the body doesn't need. And the doctor, we never got to that point because the line that he put in wrong. So when he threaded it in his vein, he punched holes in his vein.
Oh, wow.
The doctor did.
The doctor did. And he actually threaded it in blindly versus using a scope to see where he was going.
Wow.
So he did it blindly. And mainly, I think, because, I assumed he was in a hurry because it wasn't supposed to be done till the next morning in the first place. And then all of a sudden, everything was rush. The doctor wants to do it now, and and I'm like, okay. I mean, everything started happening real fast. It was really weird how everything went down. But he threaded the line, and then he left the hospital.
Mm.
Well, he actually left the hospital.
He left with the hospital, and when my husband started complaining after he put it in, he was like, "Is this supposed to hurt?" Because the whole time he was in the hospital, he wasn't in any pain. His issues was he had a muscle tone deficiency where he couldn't swallow.
Now, was this an ongoing issue?
No, it just happened all of a sudden.
Okay.
All of a sudden, he couldn't swallow, and his eye was droopy. So they thought maybe he had a stroke, and they ruled all that out. He hadn't had a stroke, and I guess they did their research and assumed that was something that it could have possibly been. Which is the same condition as the father on Empire had.
Terrence Howard. Right.
Yeah.
Or Terrence, his character.
Yeah, you remember in the first season, he had this sickness.
Right.
And it was myasthenia gravis. It's a rare sickness.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it just so happened that that's what they picked for
So
him.
up to this point, no signs of illness, static?
No pain.
No
No
pain,
pain.
no anything.
No pain.
And this is what, 33 years old?
33 years old.
Okay.
And he was like, "Is this supposed to hurt? Something's
Right.
not right." So, his mother called the nurse in, and the nurse said, "I'm gonna call the doctor." She called the doctor, and the doctor told her to pull it. He's gonna take him to surgery in the morning and do it right, which was so dumb of him, and I think of her too.
With the pull
Because if you
the
don't know-
line.
Yeah, to pull the
Okay.
line, because really, honestly, if you don't know the risk of pulling a newly placed line, you shouldn't pull it.
Right.
Because usually when you pull those lines, they've already been placed for a period of time, But you having a problem with a newly placed line, so something's going on. So what was going on? She pulled the line. She came in and she pulled the line, and he had perforated his vein. He had put holes in his vein.
The physician that
threaded
The
it
doctor.
in. So what was going on is it was leaking
Right.
blood.
Wow.
And he could
Internal
feel
ble-
it. And it was
internal
filling
bleeding.
up in his chest. And instead of them checking the x-ray before they pulled it, because on the x-ray clearly showed that it's bleeding.
Right.
Wow.
So nobody checked the x-ray. And the nurse went in there, la, 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 I'm going to pull this line. And she pulled the line. And when she pulled the line, she panicked.
Wow.
And he's like trying to, he's
breathe.
dying. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, and she's calling his name. Stephen, talk to me. Stephen, talk to me. And, it took for his mother to run out in the hallway. It's like, something's wrong with my son. So another nurse ended up coming in and was like, oh, hold on, wait, we need to call the code. So it took them like 10 minutes to call the code once they pulled the line out. So
basically his body probably filled up. His lungs filled
Uh,
up.
internal
yes,
hemorrhaging.
because it's just like a tire. You know how you take
Yeah.
a nail out of the tire. Once you take a nail out of the tire, it was just over.
Right.
So it just, filled his lungs up, and then oxygen wasn't going to his brain, and then it just went from one thing to another.
Wow.
So there was a lawsuit with the hospital, right?
There was.
Lawsuit settled?
Settled.
Okay. All right. So we're not going to get into that.
Move on. We let them move on.
I'm just like, oh my
Right.
Hey, because you know what? This was not only, when I read about this, it was actually, I want to say it was like, this is 50.com or something like that. This wasn't even covered majorly in the city of Louisville.
Because this is Louisville, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This you got to think about that. You know, this is a majority. You know, this is a good old boy state.
Somebody called somebody keep this under
Yeah,
wraps.
we keeping this under wraps, and then they convinced me to keep it under wraps. You know, we don't want you talking about it
because it gives back the East a bad name and eat.
Cahoots.
Right.
You know, so you really can't trust nobody because they all eat and drink together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they, you know, that's what they do. Malpractice attorneys, they are back and forth with each other. They know each other. They make deals behind the table.
Golf. That's what I said. That's what they said. Most deals are made on the golf course.
Right. So that's all it was, you know, and the fact that, you know, I was told that, you know, there's a young black woman is not going to get a substantial amount of money by a judge, you know.
So that was
that was
cute to settle. Right.
Yeah. You know, he let me know. He was like, you can end up with nothing just because you're black. And then it wasn't about the money, you know what I'm saying?
The principle.
Right, you know, and then there probably would have been no amount of money I would have been satisfied with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For the death of my husband, you know. It couldn't, if nothing would
Right.
have been, if they'd have gave me 50, 100 million, it wouldn't have been enough.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is my husband's life, you know, and then just to think that he became a number.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what
this
I'm
procedure
saying?
was called plasmapheresis.
Plasmapheresis.
Plasmapheresis. So if I ever get sick, I know where I can.
Plasmapheresis.
Right.
We're gonna see you straight to
This is
bed.
not my first time hearing this story.
It's the first time you heard it?
No.
I mean,
Is this
No.
the first time
She
talking about
actually-
this publicly?
She did an interview. What magazine was that?
Vibe magazine.
Vibe.
Vibe
Yeah, I
magazine.
read it before too. I had it
And
read
I'm
up
not
on
real
it too.
sure.
No,
'cause
she told me.
I've
She
heard,
told me.
like, I've seen different articles where he's OD'd and he's had aneurysm and
The wife set him up for the insurance money.
all kinds of things.
I'm just.
That one I haven't heard.
Nah, it wasn't the largest.
But I've heard all kind of things.
You can
but
smack him on his bald head if you want to.
This is from the horse's mouth. I'll tell you what happened. That's what they basically killed him. And then I'm gonna be honest with you. In my opinion, they tried to cover it up.
Oh, definitely.
They tried to cover it up.
See,
It was
but
a
one
whole
thing,
lot of,
you and his mother was there, so y'all seen
I don't
everything, right?
remember type things and changing records and
Now look, when he was in the hospital,
they didn't realize who he was.
I was going to ask you that. Did they know who he was?
No. And after, you know, they realized who he was, everybody's scrambling.
That's when
Like,
they really tried to
You
cover it
know,
up.
and then they also, you know, even talked, I think, because, you know, usually when someone dies within 24 hours of a hospital visit, it's automatically a coroner's case.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to do an autopsy. But the next day I was called and said, we looked at his x-rays and seen that he died from complications to a medical procedure.
Right.
So we're not going to do an autopsy.
Wow.
Plus, with his age and everything else, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like a healthy 33-year-old man coming into the hospital, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, it would have been harder for me to prove if I hadn't got that autopsy. Because they were trying to say he had I can't even remember the names of the things, but they was saying all kind of stuff. It could have been this, it could have been that. So thank God I had family around me that, you know, everybody was like, you know, it was God, I would say, you know, because I ended up getting a private autopsy done. And just so happened is the person who did it was a person who ran the coroner's office for 30 years. So I got him to do the autopsy, and because of him and his testimonies, and I was able to, you know, prove that that's what happened to him.
See, and y'all blame me for not liking hospitals. I don't mess with hospitals. If I get sick and they keep me overnight, best believe it was against my will. I need y'all to come up to the hospital and come with a protest. And,
You know,
yeah,
you always need to have family around. I would say this: don't ever leave your family in the hospital.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody there watching you. Yeah. I know I've had family members in the hospital said they was mean to me when y'all left, and I know nurses. I have friends that are nurses, and they see a lot of things, you know, and see a lot of mistakes, and they cover up. They might give somebody too much insulin, and they're scared, and you know, watching them all night. But they don't say nothing. If you live, they don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that go on, and you have to watch them doctors. You have to have copies of your records. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what you writing down. You know, and how much you giving them and weight. Like, you know, you have to be on it, and then also do your own research.
Well, see, we need women in there with us then, because us men, you know, a cute nurse come in, we be like, we forget all about the treatment.
Right.
Nah, buddy. Nah, buddy. You by yourself right there, player. I'm trying to tell you, my mother been a nurse for a while. You damn.
But you have to do your own research. Like, if they say you have something, get a second opinion.
Right.
And then research it. What are the treatments? What are my options?
What are the side effects?
Them tell you what because that wasn't the only option for him. You know, they could have tried something less extensive. You know, and I didn't know that. You know, it just everything was happening so fast, and a lot of times it's all about the dollar.
So why Baptist
they're
East?
Trying to get that money.
Why Baptist East? Because I heard Baptist East been having not to say that, but it wasn't always the best quality of care.
I don't know why Baptist East at this point, but I've learned through this situation that the best hospital to go to in Louisville would be University.
That's what they tell me. They
say
for trauma.
Because I was told that the only way that he would have lived is if he was at University.
Yeah,
because they're not equipped for trauma.
Mm-hmm.
He had it was trauma. He was bleeding.
Right.
So they wasn't really equipped for that, and they running around. They calling heart doctors, and he coded for an hour and a half. That's rare.
So what is code? I don't know what that means. What does code mean?
That's when they're trying to resuscitate you.
Okay.
And usually after 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying, the brain is dead.
Then everything else.
And he tried to do it for how long?
An hour and a half.
You were present for all this?
I was present. I actually wasn't in the room during the whole code, but at the end, they played me. I won't tell y'all about that. They kind of played me.
No, put them on blast. Go ahead.
I put them on blast. You know, the whole time he was in there, I was like, well, just let me go talk to him. I just want to talk to him. You know, just let me talk to him.
Well, man, we need you outside, man.
Yeah. Actually, outside, around the corner, down the hallway.
Wow.
Like way away. You know. And eventually, after an hour and a half, and I'm just praying in the hallway, praying. Family members are showing up. And they was like, the doctor wants to see you. And I'm like, at this point, nah. It's been an hour and a half, and I just got this, you know, if that's your soul. And, you know, I just had this feeling that something
wasn't right.
And then he was like, well, you got to come. So they just basically pulled me down the hallway. And I kept saying, no. So I gets in there, hour and a half later. He's all cleaned up. Everything is, you know, just
looking good.
You know, and they're still doing CPR.
Wow.
You know, and I could hear sounds coming out of him like, ugh. And I'm like talking to him. I'm like, you know, talking to him.
Maybe you're all right, you good, honey?
No, like, don't go.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Fight.
At that point.
Yeah, I need you to fight. Don't go. We need you. You know what I'm saying? Fight. And I'm talking to him, pleading, but my husband was already dead.
Wow.
He was already gone, had been gone. You know, so they was just playing me, you know, and they had me in there talking to a dead body.
Wow.
You know, and I really, to this point, I don't appreciate that. They could have spared me that.
Right.
Because that was traumatizing for me.
Right.
You know, because I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the doctor was like, we got to stop. And I was like, no, 5 more minutes.
Right.
Because I could hear sound.
Right.
But it wasn't nothing but just air coming out of him. And it just was the sound.
Yeah, it is traumatizing.
And he was just like, we got to stop. And I looked at him, and I was like, well, what happened? What happened? It was about 8 people standing around the table. And they just stepped back and did this.
What did they do?
They wouldn't say
Wasn't
2
me.
words.
I was saying, how did the doctor look at you?
The doctor left the hospital after he died. He left that. He was scared. I guess they claimed he was scared for his life. Because and then he couldn't face me. He couldn't face me.
Right.
I'm like, well, where's the doctor? Because I need to know what happened.
Right.
I left the hospital not knowing what happened to my husband because nobody would talk to me. They knew it was a lawsuit.
Right.
And that was just messed up. You know what I'm saying? How can you lose somebody's husband and not give him an explanation as to what happened?
So at what point did you figure out, or at what point was it revealed to you that the lines were punctured and things were done wrong? Was that later on?
When the autopsy came back and he showed everything. This is this is that, and that's
And
what
this
happened.
was called, yeah.
This went first, this went second. He was dead. Can't nobody survive a hour and a half code, barely even a 30-minute code. And what they hoped that they would happen was that they could keep his heart beating, so they could keep him on a life support. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he's in a coma, and I wouldn't know, anything to buy them time. I don't know why they kept wanting his heart to beat, because he wouldn't have. His brain was gone.
He'd have been a vegetable.
Yeah.
So after he passed, did the community, did the hip hop community reach out? Did Timberland reach out?
They attended the funeral. I'll say that.
Was the funeral here?
The funeral was
It was
here.
in Banks.
Okay.
And they attended the funeral, but from that point on, I have received no, Static left a huge catalog.
Right.
And
That's an understatement.
I just have, they all on their own thing, and at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Static had just finished his album.
And he was doing his own label, like OG Records, right?
No, not OG Records.
What's the name of it? It was a label though that was created,
There
right?
wasn't a label.
It wasn't?
At that point, no. He was signed to Black Cherry. He had just signed a deal for his own album.
Okay.
So he had just finished an album. And that he made sure that none of them was on his album. So that should say something right there.
Wow.
My husband, no, he made his own way.
Wow.
He started out with Timberland and Missy now, but he made his own way. And at this point, I realized that I'm going to have to do the same. You can't expect people to keep it real and be 100. You know what I'm saying? You just got to elevate yourself.
Yeah.
So that, when the stars align, they'll be knocking on your door,
Now, I know that every time I've been to a show when Juwaan comes here, he always makes sure he gives a shout out to Static. But did that relationship continue while he was alive?
How do I want to say this?
The truth.
Honestly, I think it wasn't on the best of terms when he passed, because Juwaan, was kind of taking credit for writing Pony. There was a lot of, situations where I'm sitting with my husband, he's on BET, and they're asking, well, who wrote Pony? He said, I did.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, the truth is, he was giving credit.
Right.
Just on GP. That Static song, he wrote that song.
He wrote the entire song?
He wrote the song, and as a singer, they might have changed one or two words.
And they give you a songwriting credit, and it's a little publishing here and there.
Yeah. But that is Static's song, and there was times where he could have acknowledged Static, but he took all, he didn't want to take the attention off himself and put it on someone else. So
I guess that's why he felt like he got to do it.
And that's why Static stopped working with him. He couldn't, he had a couple little baby hits after Static, them jeans and stuff like that, but he couldn't buy a pony. He couldn't, he still can't get a pony.
Next.
And then, wait a minute, let me tell you this too. I want to say this too. Now, if you're going to give him acknowledgement, don't acknowledge him when it benefits you. Just so you can hear the crowd screaming and stuff. If you're only going to do it in Louisville, you know what I'm saying? To me, that's not genuine. That's not genuine.
Right.
It's not genuine. It's not genuine.
It's not genuine. I haven't heard him on anything.
Right, to acknowledge.
Because the line he gives when he comes here, he addresses the crowd, and he says, shout out to my man Static, man. He said, we were on tour, man. This is what he says all the time. He says, we were on tour, and I would always say, this is my man Static Major from Louisville. And he said, nah, he had to tell me, it's Louisville.
Yeah.
So that's the line that Juwaan uses when he comes.
Only when he comes to Louisville.
I don't know what he does on tour, but I mean,
Man, it's the only place he could say that line.
It's a lot of fake love that goes around. A lot of fake love, and I'm not gonna say, real is real and fake is fake. You know, it's not, you can't, no riding the fence. You know what I'm saying? Either you are, or either you, love is real, it ain't, period. So.
Right.
And he also did some work on the Pretty Ricky album.
Yes.
Did some work on that. Man, there's a lot of things. So let's get to the event. You had this event planned, and from what I perceive, you want this to be an annual event?
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see. The last one I did was 5 years ago.
Was it here or was it?
Here.
Okay.
Did it turn out well?
It did. She was there. Did you get to see the show?
Uh-huh.
So it turned out really well. I kind of intermingled a fashion show. For some reason, I've kind of gravitated to the fashion. So that's like a brand that I've kind of started. It's called Rip the Runway.
Okay.
And I may kind of incorporate it, you know, in this tribute just on GP. And it's just eye candy, you know, for people. Give people something to...
So you're a clothing designer? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not a clothing designer,
Okay,
but I put on fashion shows.
You put on fashion shows.
And I have, like, clothing designer friends. And
So you're talking about bringing models in town?
Focus, bro.
But first of all, Louisville has some of the prettiest women
Okay.
that you ever. I hear that everywhere I go.
Okay.
Like they like Louisville. I have never seen they'll say I've never seen an ugly woman from Louisville.
Man.
Maybe different, but
Very rare. Very rare.
No, Louisville does have
But
some
I think
beautiful
it's,
women.
you know, and we age.
Gracefully.
Yes, we
So-
age well. I think it's the water. We have really good water here.
We do. Shout out to Little Water Company. You know what? They actually won an award for their water.
I
They did.
Yeah.
They do it every year. They
I'm
win.
dead serious.
Best
because
tasting water in the country.
I know. And when I'm out of town, I'm like, it's our water. I'm telling you. That's why, you know, because I want to tell you how old I am, but people never believe how old I am.
All right, so you gonna get some little girls and throw some dresses on them, put them on the runway?
Possibly. Possibly. We'll see. It's
Well,
a
what you
lot
think,
of-
Tiandra? Hold on. What you know, marketing
I'm already
guru.
working with her on a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so the event is a memorial to Static Major.
It is.
So what do you see in this? So is there a venue yet?
Yes, it's going to be at the Gramercy on 3rd Street.
The Gramercy?
It's right directly next door to the Henry Clay.
Okay. Well, we know what that's at. We've been to Fade Party at the Henry Clay. So we're going to be at the Gramercy, so we want people to come out, party, celebrate the life of the late, great Static Major. Will Static's music be played?
Most definite. I'm working on a mixtape. We are reproducing and re-singing released music. Like, we're going through his catalog and we're revamping that, and I'm using unsigned artists instead of signed artists.
To sing some of his hits.
To sing some of his hits, and then from there, possibly I could use some of those artists. You know, I'm looking for feedback to see what's what, who's who.
So are you starting your own company? Yes, I'm about to say, are you starting your label?
I'm not interested in. I don't think I'm interested in the label because I don't want to babysit artists.
Right.
Artists can be fickle, and a lot of them are not loyal. I mainly am interested in maybe like a production company. That's the writers and the producers, you know. I will, you know, do a demo and shop a deal, you know, for artists.
So more like an agent?
I can, not necessarily. I'll shop a deal and, you know, we'll work out
The
numbers and all that.
So you still have industry connects, what you're saying?
Most definite, yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
See, she don't be like, she ain't gonna, you know, get on social media and like name drop or post her.
She ain't supposed
moves,
to.
You know.
You're supposed to. Your left hand don't know. Your left hand don't know how to know what your right hand's doing.
That's right.
So have you reached out to any local artists yet as far as performing? I mean, I think Corey Black could be a good one.
She's involved.
Oh, she's involved already?
Yeah, she's involved.
Okay.
Well, you know what? We'll see. I'm not making no promises. I'm not making no promises to anybody. You got to show up.
And show out, right?
You got to show up and show out.
All right.
We'll see.
So is this going to be a upscale event or what's?
It is. It's definitely going to be upscale. Dress code strictly enforced. I'm only selling a few tickets. It's only I'm only selling 200 tickets.
So how many?
And
you're
that's
selling
not a
200,
lot.
right? You're selling 200, and that's it?
200 tickets, and then I
It's
think
exclusive.
I might sell 100 VIP. Maybe. We'll see. But it's definitely going to be exclusive. So if you want to come, you have to get your ticket now. And, you know, definitely I've had some really good RSVPs.
And
But
she
you
ain't telling.
know
You
how
just
the
gonna have to
industry is. You don't want to announce it because they may come or may, you know.
So there may be some surprise.
We'll see
celebrity.
where the love
Right.
is. Put it like that. We see where the real
Let me
love
ask you, are
is.
you still cool with Smoking Ben?
I am.
I tried to get Smoke up here today, but they had some prior engagements, but they might make it up here next week. So I
Yeah.
know Smoking Ben will definitely be
Yeah.
in attendance for that. Now you have a female.
I have Black is going to host the show for me.
Who is?
Black.
Ben, right?
Black. Smoke.
Yeah.
Black in the group.
Ben.
I know the name. I know Ben is
Ben.
How about Ben? His name is Black.
With Black,
Black.
yeah, Black, my
His name
bad.
is Black.
Yeah, Black. With
So
Black
you
is
must know
going.
Ben. Did you not grow up with Ben or something? Because only people who know Ben
Yeah, call
him
him
Ben. So I'm just wondering, do you know?
He meant black, you know.
Yeah, his name is Black.
He
I'm
meant
sitting
black.
like confused.
Right. He's like,
Black. It's his, yeah.
All right, so Black is going to host the event.
Yes.
All right, so let's get back to the female models. So you're going to have female
man,
models. So look, if you have female models, that's gonna attract males, right? So if you have female models, are you gonna have male models as well?
It depends on what designer I use.
Because somebody asked me that too.
It depends on what designer I use. I have to, you know, male. I don't know a lot of. I just gravitate toward the female designers.
women empowerment. Shut up, bro.
But
Hush.
hey, if you're a male designer and you want to be a part of the show, hit me up.
I just asked. I want to put on a suit and walk down.
Yeah, he plugging himself.
All right, so
So what else you got coming up? Are you currently residing here or?
I'm part time here in Atlanta, so I'm back and forth.
I was surprised when I read about Static's death because I didn't realize that he was still living in Louisville.
He lived away from Louisville. He lived in Virginia and what was that part? New York. I can't even remember the name of New York, but he lived in several places with DEVANTE, and he just decided, you know, after going
They were
through all
boys.
of that, and you know, he was able to witness a lot of things.
Yeah, I
with
can
that
imagine.
DEVANTE era, you know, it's oh my goodness, a lot of things went down.
In that house,
Went
the
down.
basement. Yeah, you got to read the story
It's
though. It's
the
crazy.
basement, B8 basement, and it really was the basement. You know, some down basement.
I mean, you could, but you're on song, Missy Elliott on song, or Timbaland on song. They'll talk about it.
Major unsung is what we need.
You know what? And I kind of reached out to them before,
I remember you.
and they was like, you know, he's just not unsung because he's still relevant. You know, he's still making music. Static has had since he's passed. He's had 4 Drake songs, a Rihanna, Solange, T.I., and so he's still putting out music. And I haven't even released the unreleased catalog, so there's still more to come.
So are you gonna put out that CD? Are you gonna try to get put out that CD that he already had?
I'm gonna try to, yeah. I'm getting the business right. You know, unfortunately, a lot of his so-called friends thought it would be good to leak a lot of his music, so I've been doing a lot of cleanup here lately. You know, I mean, you know, leaking music, and then what they don't realize is that's like intellectual property.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was a real songwriter. You know,
Right.
so his music deserves to come out properly.
Right.
You know, not leaked. I mean, that's to me, it's just not cool. And then you taking away from his kids.
Right.
So are there any unreleased tracks with him and anybody that we'd be curious in hearing?
Why?
She's not gonna give that information.
He works with a lot of artists. You know, Static worked with Beyonce and everybody. So just stay tuned. You know, I'm making my way. I'm making my way.
All right, we'll get to the point that the women want to hear. How did you and Static meet?
Oh gosh. You want the short version?
Now we got some time, you know.
The short, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a lot of. It was God and prayer. You know, the first time I saw him was on TV on a video, and me and my friends we was watching. I had two best friends, and we were watching the video, and I'm on the phone. We on 3-way at the time, and she was like,
Three-way.
Three-way.
That was 95.
Yes, you know we had three-way back then.
Right.
And I'm looking, I was like, who are they? And she was like, girl, that's Playa. So she was like, shoot. I was like, I take the brown one.
I want the one with the braid.
And the other was like, I like the black one, and I take the yellow one. So we all had one. We all had one, and I said, okay. I said that's he, he's mine. But then a couple weeks later, she called me. She was like, girl, don't you know they from Louisville? And I was like, you lying? And they gonna be here for Derby. We should go. We should go. And I was like, okay, I'll go. But I wasn't really talking about it.
So who was his friend?
Her name is Kim.
Hey, Kim. Look, shout out to Kim.
Shout out, Kim. Because Kim's going to come back in. I mean, Kim is, like, really responsible for putting us together. But, so we went to the show, and Static was so down to earth. You know, this is his home. He didn't give about nothing. Right. He's walking the crowd. He's mingling, talking, drinking. He got drink here to drink here. You know, he's the type of person, last call for alcohol, he's going to get 2-3 drinks. You know, and so he's walking around, and I'm just standing there. And my friend was like, there's Static right there. She kind of pointed across the room, and I'm like, yeah. Right. And I'm like, where? And I looked up, and I seen him. As soon as I looked up, we both looked up at the same time.
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Right, he did like this.
Come on, man. Don't give me that. I saw you across a crowded room.
He did. I swear, he pointed like, hey. And then I dipped. Because I wasn't talking about nothing. I was like, I'm like, I was just talking. I was just playing. I was just playing. And it was like, he was pointing at you, and I was like, I was just playing. So
you weren't no backstage group, y'all.
So I dipped on them. So the next thing I know, we on Broadway back in Derby days. Right, Broadway was packed.
You fronting again.
And now, actually, let me tell you, I'm in the back seat of an escort. A 2-door escort.
Escort. Wow.
I'm in the back
seat of a 2-door escort. And I actually had fell asleep. Because I'm the friend that's going to fall asleep.
Yeah, you're in the back seat.
Yeah, I'm
do
that
what y'all
friend.
do.
I'm that friend. I'm going to fall asleep. So I'm in the car, and I can hear the other girls in the car start screaming, there's Playa. And I woke up, I raised up, and the little corner window.
Right. Was it a 2-door escort?
It was a 2-door escort.
She was in the hatchback.
It was a little corner window.
Oh, man.
And I happened to look up. And when I looked up, he looked up at the same time and did it again, pointed like, that's her. So I hurry up and sat back like, I ain't talking about nothing. I'm sorry, y'all.
So how old are you then?
This thing about it, how old was he when he was fat?
What age is what I'm asking.
Most definitely, Static and I are exactly 2 months apart. He's 11'11" and I'm 1'11".
Okay, so you're
exactly.
So it wasn't an R. Kelly Aaliyah situation.
Hold on. She still didn't say her age. Hold on, she still didn't say her age though. She said the birthday.
You're never supposed to ask a woman her age.
Right, on the radio.
We're the same age.
Okay.
Well, he did his research though.
Do the research and find out.
She said, Google her.
All right, so look, y'all, eye contact was made again.
Yes, we made eye contact, and I dipped on him again, and then seen him that next day at the mall, dipped on him again. Oh. I'm telling you, I just kept dipping on him, and he would always point that finger. So on a weekend, you have 3 encounters. So that was about the 3rd encounter, and I kept telling my friend, she was like, look, and I would call, I was like, I ran into him again, and she'd be like, look, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
So why would
So I don't know, that industry, and I just didn't think I was, why me? Of all people, little old me, he keeps, so I just didn't think it, I don't know. So eventually there was one day I had decided that I would go to Shawnee Park. And I never was one to hang out there. It was just that day my friend invited me to come.
And that was a hangout.
And she was dry. I know.
Yeah, Nisha. I got Nisha on the live feed. She said she made you go talk to him.
She did.
I thought you said Kim. Now we got Misha.
No, Nisha.
My cousin. Hi, cousin. Okay. And And as we're leaving the park, he's coming in. So our cars passed each other. And somehow he saw me.
And he pointed at you again.
And he did, like, there she is. And my friend went, she stopped the car. And I was like, bitch,
I'm pulling
drive.
I'm pulling
Don't
you out
you
the car.
stop. And she was like, She started cussing me, bitch, you getting up this
Why we live?
you know.
the B word. So a couple of those went through, and then she stopped, and I was like, I ain't getting out. And I'm just sitting there with my arms crossed.
I would have pulled you out that
And
car.
the next thing I know, and then I didn't think to lock my door. So he gets out the car and just opens up the door. He's like, "You've been running from me." And I'm like, and I'm just looking. He was like, come here, let me holler at you. So we gets out the car, we exchange numbers, and the rest is history. You know, he was just on me like white on rice. Soon as I got home,
you sure it was him
phone rang.
on him or you on him? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
he
I
was
know
on
women know how to
me.
flip things and everything
No,
like
I'm
that.
old school. I'm completely old school. That's why I'm still single.
So after meeting, how long was it before the wedding?
We got married a year and a half after we met. So we was engaged in 9 months. And then we was married probably 6 months after that.
So this is really love at first sight. It's a lifetime.
Yeah, it was. He'd say that. he would always say that I loved her as soon as I met her. As soon as I saw her. And that's true with some men. You know, they as soon as they see it, that person, they love them.
That's
So
what my husband tried to tell me too.
That's true.
Like whatever, you try to run game.
You been married before?
Look, off flag. We're talking about off flag. Quit running. Why you running, Brad? Yeah, well, why you running, Brad?
Yeah.
We talked about that out there. But okay, so it was a love at first sight thing. So from then on, it was you and Static.
It was me and him. You know, you know, we got married and we had our daughter. You know, she was a honeymoon baby, mind you. So she was born exactly 9 months after we got married.
Well, you really are old school, huh?
Yeah, because you know, honestly, I had already had a son. You know what I'm saying? And I told myself I didn't want to have any more kids out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I made that promise to God. And I honestly even prayed for him. That's why you always pray for your husband and pray for your man. And whatever you want, you gotta pray for it. Yes, you gotta pray for it. And if he don't bring it to you, you know, it just don't work out like that.
This is a young age, right? So was it difficult being married to someone that was in the industry?
No, because he was such a family guy. You know, he was actually, his sister passed. He had a sister. She died when she was 22. So, you know, my condolences to his mother, you know, for, you know, just imagine, I can't imagine losing both of my children.
Right.
So, you know, I just, you know, my heart goes out to her.
And see, look, the reason I asked that is because, you know, we've been talking about the Kevin Hart situation lately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not condoning what Kevin did by any part, but I'm saying that myself.
She ain't going nowhere.
And no, I'm saying myself. I don't know how I would be able to handle. I'm just Brad, but if I was Brad with $120 million and everyone in the world recognized, probably Miss America is jumping in my inbox. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I would like to say if I was married, I can handle that the right way, but I don't know if I would be able to.
See, but I don't know because I look at it differently. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Not because, you know what I'm saying, because it wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be authentic. Because you don't know this person before the fame. I mean, I'm just saying, this is a different type.
You don't want her like that.
Nah, I mean, but I think, I think it works better, though.
Okay, as humans, we all got demons.
And temptations.
Everybody got demons, you know, and temptations, and they know our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they play on our weaknesses.
Right.
You know, so you have to keep yourself grounded. You know, you got to stay in church. You got to have somebody, you know, who's going to keep you grounded and keep him in, you know. So that's what he said I did for him. I kept him grounded. I kept him in church. I can't say what he did when he wasn't with me. Right. But I ain't never had a female calling me, telling me that they done had my husband.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you do, you better do it right. Make them respect me. Put some respect on my name. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you do, so you keep them 50 feet whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was just that type of woman. I understand temptation. I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It affects all of us.
But it sounds like that you two had the relationship that a lot of people look for. You know what I mean? And for men, I'm gonna say for men, not all men, because men are different, but for men like maybe Static that seeked a relationship or a wife or whatever, the fact that you weren't falling out over him was probably the attraction.
I'm telling you.
Right.
He was like, I never met a woman like you. Because I wasn't all on him. He was on me.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, we in the club or whatever, I might disappear. And he's looking for me like, where'd she go? You know what I'm saying? He'll get on the microphone, where my wife at? And they like, your husband is looking for you.
It better not be. Because that's not the case nowadays. Nowadays, you can walk down the street, trip on a crack, and land in some box. I mean, that's how available. I'm saying that's how available women are making themselves today.
Yeah. I saw that in that Bird Game Matters group.
Yeah.
The thirst is real.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say my husband was an angel, you know what I'm saying? And our relationship was perfect.
He was an angel to you.
We was married for almost 10 years. So if he was alive, it would have been 18 years. Yeah. So you can calculate my age from that, I'm not
Girl,
but
you look good.
Thank you, girl.
We got 1 minute. We got to wrap it up real quick.
Okay.
Give people all the information about the event, how they can reach you on social media, how they can follow the event.
Okay, the event is going to take place on Thanksgiving weekend on November 25th at the Gramercy. I don't have it on 3rd Street, so you can go to my Facebook page. You can go to Static Major's Instagram page for all the details. Only so many tickets are being sold. All the proceeds are going to his hometown hero banner. And I'd like to ask everybody if you could sign the petition. It's on the Static Major page.
Right, and real quick, with you're trying to get Static Major one of those banners that go on the side of the building that we see for most legends from Louisville.
Yes.
So that's the Static Major banner. So that thing costs like $25,000, right?
Or more. Yes.
Or more?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I can get the fans to help me pay for that.
Right.
Wouldn't you guys want to, just help? Because I think Jennifer Lawrence's, her fans pay for her.
You need to do the GoFundMe or something for it, or get something out there to. I'll share it. I'll promote it. Let's get it done.
It's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Louisville, check us out every Saturday, 4:30 p.m., 100.9 FM. This is Urban Voices Radio, and we out.